Hi, I'm back again. It is 6:17 and now we're going to talk about retirement. So I haven't did my full on research on retirement, so I'm going to create a whole nother video, not in my regrouping video thread, but I'm going to create a whole different video as well because I'm going to think about an investment plan for retirement. Well, retirement plan, of course. Now, I want to talk about income. Now, a lot of people struggle with this part. And I know because I have struggled with this part. And when I was struggling with this part, and now that I'm struggling with this part again, I understand that there's a lot that goes through your head that you think nobody else is listening to or understand or is going through, and that's not true. Um, a lot flows through my head when it comes to making income. A lot has happened to me while making income, and it had sometimes it is very hard to, find an income source. Now, a lot of people say a good rule of thumb is the threes. So, like, if you're using your credit card, it's 30. That's three. Or if you're having an overnight stay at somebody's house, three pair of underwear, three bras, three pair of socks. Some people goes with six, but I've always heard three for overnight. There's there was another one that I had in mind, but with income, it is a good rule of thumb to have at least three sources of income if you're actually trying to have a career for yourself. I'm going to say if you're an entrepreneur, because I don't want to say have a career and then you only need one source of income. For an entrepreneur, it's good to have your main source of income, your entrepreneurial source of income, and then your backup side hustle income. That's three. Now, what I mean by your main income is a job. I mean, a lot of people just never had a job and went straight into entrepreneurial, spirits. They had entrepreneurial spirit. I never say it correct when I'm talking fast, and they just made it. But it don't always work like that. Some people actually have to work hard. Now, I'm not saying that people don't work hard, but I'm saying a lot of people sometimes become overnight success, but some people don't. Some people make it look like they had overnight success. Like this girl's YouTube channel, she automatically started out having I don't know, it was 20 or 30,000 views, and I'm like, how when you only got up one video? And when I was going through the comments of that one video, she started posting more later on, but I subscribed because I'm like, how do you got all of these followers? You only got one video up here. You barely talking about anything. I'm not gonna call her out on her name. Not call her out of her name. Call her out on it, but I'm not gonna, you know. But I was like, how the hell did you? Anyways, what she did was she started a TikTok channel. And what she did was when she started her TikTok channel, she was putting in her bio the link to her YouTube channel. And since she only had one video up there, 20, 30,000 people on her TikTok, and she got millions of TikTok videos, now she jumped over to YouTube. Now she pulled her customers and her it's only customers when they buy something, but she was selling stuff. And then her viewers, her customers slash viewers from one social media to another. I like that in people. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to pull my people from TikTok because I got 4,000 followers on TikTok. Now that originated from Musically, because Musically, and I hate when people like, oh no, it wasn't. It was two different apps. No, it wasn't, baby. I got the same login, and all my videos that was on Musically, I can prove to you because at the end it said Musically. Now all of my old Musically videos that's on that's on TikTok, it don't say Musically when you download them no more. It just say TikTok. But yes, that Musically came from TikTok. I had them from Musically. A lot of people didn't even know that they can rescue their account, and they didn't know that it was the same thing, just a different name. Just like Twitter and X. People like, oh, they changed the name. Oh my gosh, it's X.com, blah, blah, blah. But see, people still using Twitter. But it's just like TikTok and Musically, you know. Anyways, long story short with that, my 4,000 followers came from Musically. I had 3,000 and something. I got 1,000. Technically, I have 1,000 on TikTok. Even though it says 4,000, 1,000 came from TikTok. So since a lot of those accounts aren't active no more, it's still, I have 4,000 followers, but I don't have 4,000 followers because they're not active. I can't tell which ones aren't active because they got old videos and stuff up there. But I'm not gonna go through 4,000 worth of people, 4,000 accounts on TikTok just to see which ones aren't active. No, I'm gonna build on that 4,000, technically 1,000, to get to 4,000, 5,000, 6,000. But I feel like Musically, I know Facebook do it for a fact, but Musically did it to me once. TikTok, I'm not for sure if they do it. But I know back when it was Musically, if you follow too many people at one time, they thought you was a spam account, and they will literally put you in Musically jail. That's why people are like, oh, I've been on TikTok jail, or I've been in Facebook jail. I don't know if it started on Facebook, but I know with me it started on Musically. Yes, you will be put in Musically jail. You can view videos, you can't like them, you can comment, you can't share them, you can copy the link, but you can't share them to people that's already on the platform through the platform. Can't do that. You can't do none of that. You can't follow no new people. You can unfollow people, but you can't follow no new people. Nothing. They was not playing. The same thing with Facebook because I've been in Facebook jail, but I don't know if they started with it. Anyways, um, I want to build on my content. So that's where let's take it back to income. People are using Musically, sorry, people are using TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, and building websites for themselves. And they're making income by doing nothing at home. They sat and did all of that work or paid somebody to do all of that work. So now their money works for them. They money come to them. They don't go to the money. Money come to them. Now, I like this quote that Miss Taffy said. I think it was Miss Taffy. Miss Taffy or Miss Taffy. No, it was two F's. It was Miss Taffy. Miss Taffy says, money flows to those who understand value and how to offer it. Then she also, I don't know where the heck she began her quotes, but her quotes are good, baby. I like this one. Money is made every second, not just by people who work the hardest, but people who work the smartest. Because you can work hard all your life and still sit there and get $16, $17 an hour. But people who work the smartest will sit there and understand that it don't take 1 hour to make 15, 16, $17. If you can sit there, and I I think Miss Taffy is the one that does she does flipping from like Goodwill and stuff. She said in one of her videos that she figured out that you can make a lot of money in just an hour by flipping. And I heard another person who was selling off eBay. I'm not for sure if it was Miss Taffy or not, so I'm not gonna say it was Miss Taffy, but I'm like 60% sure it's Miss Taffy, but I might be wrong. But people who figure out that you could sell this one item in an hour for $200, it only took you 1 hour to make $200. What makes you think I'm gonna continue working for $15, $16 an hour when I just made $200 off one thing? Now imagine if I had six things making $200. That's $1,200 right there. And that's all still in 1 hour. So if I can make $200 in 1 hour, what do I look like working 16, 17, $18 an hour? Even if I get $20 an hour, what do I look like working for that when I can make this? What do I look like working for this if I can work for this same amount of time? That's why a lot of people are going into business for themselves. Now, with me, I invest into my business. I don't like taking the way of everything free, 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 free. I'm free 99 just like other people. I would go price shopping for free 99, but free 99 don't always get you the best. Like I will sit and I will play little games when I'm not at work or something. I will sit and I will play little games to earn money. I don't know if you can see that. I never understood why people on YouTube do this when it actually don't work. I know I cracked my phone at the top. Don't judge me. But I will sit and I will play games. Right now, this is Mancala. I love Mancala. I love the actual Mancala game. Because you can play it different ways. I don't like how this one plays. You only get one turn, and when you stop, you don't pick up that power. Mm-mm. And then it's either clear side or get to a certain amount. That's not how I like to play Mancala. But I play those for a little chump change, right? That's not gonna get you rich. That's not why I do it. I do it because I don't have to come out of my pocket to invest money into something. You see what I'm saying? Now I play, and I got an iPhone. You can have an Android too. My auntie, who I'm not cool with no more, she uses her Android to make money. Now, sometimes she just don't want to play the games no more, or don't have no storage to download new games, or just overall get bored and stop playing the game. Once I make a certain amount, like say right now on Benjamin, which is legit because I've used it before. On Benjamin, I am at hate this. I am at $23.48. Right? I'm at I'm at $23.48. At $25, you can cash out. So once I cash out that $25, I invest that into my business. I go and I buy. So I sit and create my designs on Photoshop, which I pay for that through my money. So it's 21.24 a month. If you're a student, I think it's 39.99. If you're not, do not just get Photoshop. Do not just get Illustrator because you're going to eventually use them. You're going to eventually use them, especially if you're a digital designer, an event planner, anything that where you use Adobe a lot. Get Adobe Creative Cloud. Why pay $400 for just Photoshop when you can pay, you know, um, $20, $30 a month and you can cancel anytime you want and you get all of them. It beats by all of them individually if they like $300, $400 a piece. Um, but anyways, I make my design. I customize my design. I go to like Printful or Printify and I put it on a shirt and put my price up there. Now, what I used to do was make me a free website through Webs. They don't have Webs no more. Webs don't exist no more. So they took my whole website down. I worked 2 whole years on that website, editing daily, every day, making posts and blogs, and they never said nothing was shutting down. They said they sent out emails. That's a lie. I check my email daily and nothing. But anyway, web shut down. So I went to Wix. Wix charged you $36 a month. Now, you can use Shopify as well. Shopify is easier to use, but I know they say $30 ain't nothing, blah blah blah. But $30 a month and you ain't getting no income, you just spending 30, 60, 90, 120. You just spending money and you're not getting that money back because you're not even making no sales in those months. So what I do is I go to something like Wix. I get the free website that goes .wix.com or something like that, or dot whatever.com. I was using Zyro for a while. Zyro is great. It's only 14.99, and it's amazing. I mean, you get a lot of features with it too, and then they had new features still coming out. So Zyro was a good one. It was only $14.99. Exactly, nothing else, no tax, no nothing. Now, when I was using Zyro and I created my website, what I would do was I would take my pictures from Printful and from Printful and Printify and drag them over to my website. I learned later that I didn't have to do all of that, but I made my job harder. I was working harder, not smarter. That's why it took me so long to get my business off the ground. What I mean by off the ground is I got my first sale. That don't mean I got 50 million sales a month. That's that's not what I mean by getting my business off the ground. Now, I set goals for myself, and I'm gonna do a video on my goals. Put that on there, video for goals. Um, um, video for goals. Um, I'm gonna do a video. I set 25, well, really 26, because I like an even number, but sometimes it just be 25. I started off with 12, and then I started going once I figured out within myself that I can complete these goals. If I stop playing around and stop procrastinating, I can complete these goals in less than a month. So what I did was I went up to 26 to challenge myself. But really I started with 24 goals. I started with 12 and 12. 12 long-term goals for the whole month and 12 short-term goals for the week of the 4 weeks of the month. So let me explain to you. I got 12 goals. Say one of them is sign up for my EIN. That's a goal of mine. I want to get my EIN or my LLC or my certificate for um it was another one that was a certificate. I want an LLC or I want a non for profit, you know, anything like that. Say I want to do that. Next day, I'm like, oh no, I don't feel like doing it right now. Skip to the next goal. Next day, I go back to that goal. Check it off. That only took me 2 days. And I started replacing those goals. And I at the end of the month, the last day of the month, I will see how many goals I actually accomplished that month of the short-term goals. And if I finished my long-term goals, if I finished all 12 of my long-term goals before that 30th or 31st day, or 29th if you say in February, but mostly that 30th or 31st day, I will calculate how many I filled in. I will always keep 24 goals, always throughout the whole year. Now, some people go month to month for their short goals and for throughout the year for their long term goals. I don't like setting my long term goals for the whole year because I never know what's going to happen. So that's not how I roll. We're going to talk more about that because I got off track again. We were supposed to be talking about income. Now, like I said, great rule of thumb is to have three sources of income. You got your hustle, your main, and your business income. Now, your your main income can be your business if you've not already started and got it off the ground. But I'm talking about for beginners here who don't have no income from business. My main income will be home health care. I'm a home health care aide. And I was getting paid $12 an hour, but I was in the state of Wisconsin. Their minimum wage is still $7.25. So I was happy to make over $10 because Foot Locker out there was paying you $10, and Foot Locker in Chicago was paying you between 18 and 22. So yeah, but every state is different. Now that I'm gonna start home health care, um, I'm still debating if I wanted to stay in Chicago. I mean, I came back to Illinois to sit and regroup. I know I'm not going back to Wisconsin anytime soon. I really don't want to go back at all. It's a long story with that. A lot of stuff I'm not even gonna share because it's not even worth talking about. It's in the past. But some things I will share in the future, just not right now. But back to income again. Um, you're gonna need a job. And people who don't have a job or not old enough to get a job need some type of income to invest in a business. Now, if you want to go to free 99 way, I'm all for, finding you a free website, free mock-ups, free designs to profit off of until you can create your own or till you can afford to pay somebody to create you some, or if you just want to sell you know, already made designs. You still need something, at least a computer or a phone. You can just have a phone or an iPad. I got all of them. But all you need is a phone, internet service. You don't even need Wi-Fi. You can have your cellular data if you got an unlimited plan. If you don't have unlimited, please have Wi-Fi. Well, use your friend's Wi-Fi, your mom Wi-Fi, your daddy Wi-Fi, anybody Wi-Fi. You can even go to the library and use the free Wi-Fi. That's what I actually suggest for people who don't want to do things from their small little phone. You can a lot of people start with Big Cartel. I didn't like Big Cartel because they only give you 5 products. And then it was a whole bunch of things saying with shipping and everything. I ain't like that. I just didn't like it. That's not my preference to start off with. My preference to start off with is find you a free website host. You don't have to pay for a .com right now, but I pay $12 a year for my domain. My domain is bccorpusa.com, and I pay for that through GoDaddy, and it's $12 a year. I paid up my type of photography for 6 years. Well, no, I paid up Brandy's Creations for 6 years, and I paid up my type of photography for 3 years. But I gave up my type of photography because I changed my type of photography into M-Top. I had M-Top vlogs, M-Top blogs, M-Top podcasts, M-Top YouTube channel. If you go back far enough on this YouTube channel and like my listings, it's unlisted because I don't want it to show up directly. But it's in my playlist. If you go to my playlist and you see my old M Top vlogs, you will see my type of photography, and my channel ain't have nothing to do with photography. That's another reason why I changed my name. I wanted M Top to only be photography. So what I did was I created me a corporation, which is Brandy's Creations Corporation. That's what BCC stand for. BC Corp, Brandy's Creations Corporation. And when I created Brandy's Creations Corporations, I had little mini businesses going in there. So I got my photography business, I got my digital imaging business. I had my custom clothing business under there, Brandy's Custom Clothing. I had my resale, my upcycle shop. Brandy's Closet Sale is what it was called. And then I had my natural vlog under there. Everything was under Brandy's Creation, so I didn't have to make individual businesses and have individual EINs and file individual taxes, for them. So, um, back to income. Sorry. Anyway, even if you don't have three sources of income, you need to have at least one source of income. And if your business is your income, you have to work hard, not just hard, but smart. Don't work your hardest. Well, yes, work your hardest. Work the hardest, but work the smartest as well. That's why I love her quote: "Is money is made every second, not just by people that work the hardest, but people that work the smartest." Please keep that in mind. I love her quotes. I will write all her freaking quotes down just to throw back in people's face when they be like, "Oh, I did this." Oh, there's the quote for it. Anyway, not necessarily throw it in their face, but anyways, um, I want to move on to budget, but I want to set up my budgeting plan before I talk about budget. And then I want to talk about investing your money too, like stock, Bitcoin, crypto, or just like a savings account that earns interest, which is basically like retirement. The only difference between retirement and a savings plan is that a savings plan does not match 100% if you're working. Most W 2 jobs, match your 401k by 100% as long as you invest in over 5% of your check, or at least 5% of your check. That's how I was taught at PLS when I was working at PLS. And then but a savings you can pull out of it anytime. Now, actual good bank, I'm not gonna say Wood Forest. I mean, not Wood Forest. Yeah, no, Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo is a good bank. Now I got a second chance account. I don't have a regular checking account with Wells Fargo because I owe a bank for being negative like $4 and some change. But that $4 and some change turned into $600 when they were charging me a daily fee of $32. And then once it got up to 600, they cut it off. So I did not know this because my credit card took out and I didn't have enough because I spent something I shouldn't have and didn't even know that I spent it. Well, I not gonna say I shouldn't have. I spent it from the wrong card. And when my credit card took out, it took that extra $4 that I spent. I think I spent it on like snacks or candy or something. That's what I mean by I shouldn't have. Wasn't supposed to, but it was my money. Anyway, that was God telling me, all right, you want to take this money off and trick you into thinking that you got the right card. Boop. Oh, look at that. Oh, yeah, you got your candy in. You so excited. And now you screwed. But that's what I mean by I feel like God put me in. God's not going to put you in situations that you can't handle. And sometimes we don't have enough self esteem, or we don't have enough strength, or we don't have enough courage or confidence to sit there and be like, I got this. I tell myself every morning, I literally wake up and I breathe in, breathe out. I do my stretches. Sometimes I'll be forgetting my stretches, but I be like, you got this today. Get up. This is what you're gonna do. You're gonna write your to-do list. You're gonna stick to your to-do list. Today I applied for 25 jobs. I sat there and wrote down all these doggone like job descriptions, like barista, babysitting, and I wrote down like what what I have experience in, what was gonna be my last resort, because I'm not gonna say I'm not gonna take a job. If a job offer me a job, I'm gonna take a job. But I applied to everything, you know. But I applied to 25 jobs today and I'm proud. So tomorrow I want to try to see if I can do 30 if I don't have any callbacks in the morning. But my thing with callbacks, I'm gonna mark that down too because I'm gonna write that out for job tips. If they don't call you back, call them because a lot of jobs I had when I first got the job at Staples, they said the reason we didn't call you, no, it wasn't at Staples because Staples called me right back. I think it was Auberge. And it was like the reason we didn't, yeah, it was Auberge because that was my only other job out there in Naperville, I think. But when I was working at Auberge, um, they told me the reason that we didn't call you back because we wanted to see if you really wanted the job. We wanted to see if you was gonna call us. And I called them every day because I not only was I desperate for a job, but I not only did I want that specific job, I needed that job. So I made an effort to have that job because I wanted the income. Anyways, this video is getting long. I'm already at 26 minutes. I didn't even get to invest in stock and crypto and all of that. I don't know much about crypto and Bitcoin. I invested with stocks through Cash App before and I came up off like $400 off of like 20 bucks. So I was fine with that, but I didn't actually sit there and actually understand, I didn't understand exactly what I was doing. I just know when numbers start going up, snatch your money because it can go back down. But I want to do more research on that. So I'm going to do a video after I do some better research on that. But for right now, that's the end of conversation about income. Now I'm going to do another video. I'll be back.